Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. How many times did I tell you? Patience is a virtue. Wait. Little by little, the garbage settles down and you're gonna have clear view of the truth. In this case, they come and tell us slowly, as the garbage settles down, that actually the F-16 pilots in Ukraine could be piloted by American pilots. Could be. So from no, it's the Ukrainian pilots doing that, to could be. The next one is going to be is or are. I'm not trying to say that the Ukrainian pilots are incapable of flying an F-16. I made very many videos on this issue and I will show you a few of them. But I stated on numerous occasions that my personal gut feeling, I don't want to say assessment, tells me that those F-16s in Ukraine are not operated by Ukrainian pilots. As, again, based on my gut feelings, those Abrams tanks or the Leopard 2 tanks or the Challenger tanks, the German, American or British tanks are not operated by Ukrainian crews. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but I don't think that they are operating the F-16s. As I said, not because the Ukrainians are incapable. I mean, how many F-16s are over there? 16, 18, 20? The Ukrainians could have trained 20 Ukrainian pilots, or I don't know, 50 Ukrainian pilots. I guarantee you they had the ability and the number. So then why do they tell us that they could be operated by the American pilots when you have Ukrainian pilots? I tell you why. They will not allow the Ukrainians jump on them with the fear that those planes could be landed in Russia. All right, let's start with the article. New Voice of Ukraine. U.S. Air Force General. This is not a retired guy. No legal barrier to American pilots flying under Ukrainian command. All right. Is there any legal barrier for American military operating, fighting the Russians in Ukraine under the Ukraine command? I guess not. Is it? Now, let's go to this little evidence I have here. I've been talking and yapping around this for so long. Right here. Did Russian missile kill Danish F-16 instructor? Pop. Do NATO pilots? Again, Canadian pilot on F-16s in Ukraine? All right, here you have US doesn't trust its allies. US blocks F-16 training for Ukrainians. F-16 jets to come to Ukraine via fighter jet coalition. Who will fly them? This is in 2023 in May, my friends. I said it, and I have some more. This is just 7 of them. Not even. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 more. So I've been talking about this for 2 years. 2 years. They will not allow these guys to operate F-16s. I will explain later, again, shortly and in short, quickly. But let's read what this guy says. As Russia ramps up its assault on Ukrainian cities and frontline positions, okay, this is mustering, squeezing your compassion. Retire, oh, he's retired here. But here in the title, he's not retired, you see. Why? They want to try to make it more official. That doesn't matter if he is or not. Air Force Lieutenant General David A. Teptula, says it's time to lift restrictions on Ukraine use of long-range weapons. Teptula, one of the key architects of modern air power strategy, made a case in an exclusive interview with Ukrainian-American writer and U.S. Air Force veteran Elisa Carlisle for the New Voice of Ukraine. He calls for a fundamental shift in U.S. policy, warning that cultural limits give Moscow an undeserved sanctuary. He explains why air superiority is decisive, dismisses nuclear blackmail fears, and urges the West to start deterring Russia. Okay, let's see what this guy says. Right here, the key point isn't stop Okay, well, Tepula, look at you. All right. Listen to this, what this guy says. This is the question she asked. Russia keeps invoking NATO as a pretext, claiming you came too close. You shouldn't be holding military exercises in the Black Sea or near our border. And the general says, that's absurd. Well, if it's absurd, why not, I don't know, these guys place some missiles in Cuba? Or I don't know, maybe in Canada, or maybe in Mexico, maybe in Venezuela. No? Nicaragua, just to mention a few of them. I guarantee you the Americans will be very absurd then, right? All right, so what else? And here is what he says. There's no legal prohibition that outright, you see that outright? That should be excluded. And then you understand that there is some provision. Outright prevents US pilots. There's no legal prohibition that outright exclude that. He would not make the case if you take that out. Prevents US pilots, those no longer on active duty, from supporting Ukraine. How about they go in China and train the Chinese to operate warplanes? Is it okay? No, it's not, because they charged and convicted one guy, a former Air Force pilot, who went to China and he was just training the Chinese. He was convicted. But hey, in Ukraine is okay. So that's why he's outlaw on law, outright, and no right. Alright, just as many US ground veterans have done. The real challenge is practical and political, no legal. Flying an F-16 in combat isn't just about sitting in a cockpit. It's about a full integration into command and control systems, rules of engagement, and the overall air campaign plan. You understand? That's why the Ukrainians are not allowed in these kind of things. That said, with proper diplomatic channels and agreements in place, it's entirely feasible to allow experienced American pilots to contribute, particularly in advisory or training roles, as well as in combat if they fly under Ukrainian command. But that requires political will on both sides. Let's not forget, Ukraine's air defenses depend heavily on Western blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's go. So he said it's okay with that, right? All right, remember in Vietnam, when the Americans sent military advisors, and then we find out they were not advising, they were actively coordinating and fighting. You remember that one? I think the same is the case here. Why? The same is war with different names, different times, different style, but it's the same thing is war. That's why I'm pretty sure all sides committed war crimes for the same reason. It's just different names, different times, different location. The war is the same, my friends. We psychologically react in the same way. So he says here, there's no legal. It's fine, but you have to have the will, political will. You remember, I say this over and over again about the mountain slope model. I said it so many times, you probably know it by heart. That's exactly what's going on over here. I said it many times. The decision has been made a long time ago. A long time ago. These guys operate right now without telling us. And if they don't, the decision was made already. And they start, as I always say, with a retired general. And then, why retired general? Because his statements could not be kept. Oh my God, this is the American military talking. No, he's just a personal, private individual with experience, an analyst, who tells his assessment based on his expertise. So he should be taken in consideration with no consequences. It's just personal accountability. That's it. No more than that. They always start with an expert who was a former something. And then they pick the media is going to pick it. And the media is going to say, the retired general said, what do you think? The discussion is brought to us, baboons. What do? They marinate the steak. That's why they put the steak, they marinate it. Why? So they can put it on the grill at the end, which is us. So they get us ready. They marinate us with this guy. Then the media starts the conversation. Then the White House will come and say, no, we will not do this. Like they did with the tanks, how they did it with everything else in Ukraine. We will not send them tanks. We will not send them F-16s. We will not do this. We will not send boots on the ground and so on. Really? Go and check them out right now. So then after that, the White House says no. And then you have the panels of experts and the guys in the media, plus a active duty military guy, an expert is going to say, yeah, from a technical and whatever reason, yeah, it makes sense to send, we have American pilots, and from there goes back to the White House, and the White House says, the spokesperson over there, the president say, no, the president is considering, you see, from no, is considering, but I don't think it's going to happen. Goes back into the media and then comes back the White House after about a week and says, we decided it's feasible, we can do it. We don't know yet the time. That worked with F-16s, with the tanks, with the howitzers, with the how do you call the Bradleys and all that. Each and every time. This is just the first ball. The decision has been made. I think they are all already actively fighting over there. Why do you think these guys are so quick to show us pictures and the names of the dead Ukrainian pilots who probably died on a MiG or on a Sukhoi previously, or just make up shit? How are you going to verify that? These guys are not going to verify it for you because they say the right narrative. They confirm the narrative. So wait for it. Wait for it. As I said, my gut feeling tells me that they are not operated by Ukrainians. Why? Because they will take the plane. Remember that incident in 1980s when it was a Soviet pilot in Vladivostok area in far east of Soviet Union who flew a newly, I think it was MiG-29, something like that. And Americans did not know anything about the MiG-29 or whatever it was. I think maybe it was the 31, the Interceptor. I can't remember exactly, but one of the newest MiGs. And these guys were like, oh my God, what's going on with this MiG? And then one of these pilots flew, in a training MiG, whatever it was, and then landed in Japan. Boom! In Japan, the Japanese had the Americans over there. Japan is occupied anyway, and they opened the whole thing. They dismantled the airplane, got everything, and they sent it back dismantled to the Soviet Union. That's how they knew that plane was not actually what they thought it was. Actually, it was worse. Was not as having good qualities, not the qualities they thought that plane has. But nevertheless, they knew everything about it. Do you think these guys I'm pretty sure the Russians already know all the in and outs of the F-16s. But can you imagine what that would be? Having it right there, new. Right there, you can touch, smell it, lick it, kiss it if you want. So that's why they don't have the Abrams tanks like that. And not only Abrams, others as well. The Patriots. Do you think the Patriots are operated by the Ukrainians? Bring it to the Russians. Dead. Years of secrets, years of technology lost because they had Davai, let's go and sell this to the Russians. I'm going to be forever set. That's it. They're not. And you need about what? You need about 80 people, a crew for the HIMARS to operate a HIMARS or a Patriot. Do you get all these guys just speak English just like that, integrated in all the pop. Wait for it, and I'll be here to let you know when they will come and they will play this back and forth mountain slope game, and in the end they might say, yeah, actually we've been involved in a long time over there. It's nothing. We're friends now. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.